Welcome to Kern 9000's Horror House.
So I noticed that I'd previously reviewed Critters 1, Critters 2, Critters 3 and Critters Attack, which is essentially Critters 5. So I thought I'd come back and take a quick look at Critters 4, which is a 1992 American science fiction comedy horror starring Don Keith Opper and Terrence Mann. Oh, and Brad Dourif's in it as well. As I said before, it's the fourth instalment in the Critters franchise, and it was filmed simultaneously with Part 3. Now, I would say that if you carry on with a horror story long enough, you'll end up in space. And while it's true that the critters themselves come from space, as do the bounty hunters in the earlier films, 90% of the previous films has been set on Earth. This one begins where the previous one left off, and the character Charlie McFadden, in his role as a bounty hunter, is about to destroy 2 critter eggs when he's suddenly stopped by a hologram message from his friend Ugg, who tells him that these eggs are the last 2 critters in existence, and that it's against intergalactic law to destroy them. He places these eggs in a capsule, and just as he's putting them in, the hatch closes on him as well, and him and the eggs are all launched into space. Over half a century later, the crew of a salvage ship finds this pod in deep space and brings it aboard. A lot of people accused the earlier Critters films of essentially trying to be a play on Gremlins. Little creatures destroying stuff for mayhem and amusement. And although I think in some ways that is a fair statement, I do think the Critters films stand on their own ground. But if that's true, this film is essentially Critters does Alien. The problem is, I would argue that Critters does not do Alien as well as it did Gremlins. This film is a bit of a plodding mess to me. I am very fond of the creatures in it. I want to give the film a fair sort of crack, but it's the dullest and worst entry in the entire Critters franchise. I even have to score Critters 5, Critters Attacks above this, which I do begrudgingly because the character of Charlie is the person who I really like in the Critters films, but this feels like a bad film that he just can't save. It's worth watching if you're a Critters fan, but it's not something I think you'll find yourself regularly returning to. And for that reason alone, I'd give it about 4 cry eggs out of 10. Okay, it's Kern 9000. Thank you for watching. Keep on watching those horror movies, boys and ghouls.